fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the brand new E5 Hayabusa trailer form from the brand new Shinkalion Change the World line from Takara Tomy. So I'm assuming this is yet another Shinkalion anime. I think this is about the third time around for anime, but the fourth time round for the Shinkalion line on a whole. There was a line before there was an anime, then there was the first Shinkalion, then Shinkalion Z, now Shinkalion Change the World. So this is about my fourth, fifth E5 at this point. But this looks pretty cool. So you have the E5, you have this trailer, and then he can kind of wear the trailer as armor, which is kind of neat. So kind of a new spin on this line, going at it again. But I really like the packaging. I think it looks very clean, very streamlined. Some nice CGI artwork here of the, I guess, model from the anime. And then we have the train and the trailer over here. Up top, kind of very similar to the original packaging here, with the, two colors on the diagonal. Very similar. When I say the original line, I mean like back in the day, the original line before any animes existed. And of course, this is PLA rail compatible. Over here on the back, you can see that there is kind of a normal E5 form. Then he combines with the trailer to make this form here. And then they're also teasing the E6, and it looks like their armors are compatible, so you can swap them there, which is kind of cool. Over here on the back, showing you everything that is included. And then it looks like, oh wow, there's some kind of giant, massive combined form also possible. So that looks kind of neat. We'll have to figure out what that's about. Just kind of saying the name over here on the side. Not really much going on the bottom. So yeah, really nice, clean packaging. I like that a lot. Going to go ahead, get everything out of the box here, and we'll take a closer look. Alright, so here are all the pieces in the box. I have to be honest, did not expect it to be this many pieces, but it's actually really cool. So these are all the pieces to build the E5 as well as the trailer. So let's go ahead and we'll build the trailer first, just because I think that's a little bit simpler. So you're going to take these two pieces that kind of look like guns, and these two pieces, which are obviously going to be shoes, and then we are going to pop this in here so you can see that there is a peg here and kind of this large square peg here, which is going to sit in this little recessed area here. So I have this backwards. You can see how there is this piece that hangs down, and you want that to be facing towards the outside where the wheels are. So you can go ahead and peg those in there, and we're going to do the same thing over here. Now there are a few stickers. You can see one of them right here. So there's a couple stickers, there's another one. So I would say the trailer probably has 5, and maybe the E5 has 5. It's really not too bad. Then we can go ahead and peg these together, like so. Then we can take these two pieces, which will be the front of the trailer, and we can peg those together. And then they are going to peg in right here and here into these top set of peg holes here and here. So then we're going to pop that on like so. So we kind of have the front section of the trailer completed here. We're going to take this piece here and this piece, and this is going to store underneath, so this just kind of hides away. Why? What am I doing here? Oh, I have it on the wrong side. It hides back here. There we go. Then we're going to take these pieces, which kind of look like hammers, and these are going to peg in here and here on the underneath section. And then these two parts here are going to peg in here and here. So, and they'll kind of gently click in. So that's pretty much the trailer. Let's see, what other parts? This and these pieces here. So you can take these pieces and they will peg in right here. And you want this to kind of sweep towards the back. I mean, it doesn't really matter. You can put it on either way. It's not going to hurt anything. But and then this, you can see that there is a little tab slot right here and here. So that's going to go there and there. And that is your trailer. Now you have these effect pieces that are going to come into play for the combined mode. And if you want, you can take these, and you see how they have these long tabs here on the side. You can tab them into these sections here, like this. And then if you want, this little tab slot right there can tab in right here. So if you want just somewhere to store them when you're not using them, you can almost kind of have the trailer haul them. So I think that's kind of cool. So that is the trailer. We will put that off to the side. We'll come back to that in a moment. The rest of these pieces here will be for the E5 itself. We're going to take these two pieces and we're going to sandwich them together, and they will click together like that. That's going to become kind of the whole waist section of the combined robot. But we are going to go ahead and pop this in here like that. That will connect into the back of that. Then we are going to take this piece, which really we're just going to kind of put off to the side. We'll take this piece here, bring this around. You can see that there are two peg holes right there. I'm sorry, pegs there, and the peg holes are back here. So pop this on top of here, and you can see there are two stickers right there. This is a combiner piece. So on the box earlier when I showed there was a combine mode, all three, the main three, the E5, the E6, and the E3, I think is the other one. Maybe I'm wrong about that. They can all, maybe it's the E7, they can all combine together, and these pieces are used for that combine mode. So where did I put the box? I don't remember now. Does it tell you? I know the red one is the E6, and it doesn't tell me what the blue one's called, so feel free to yell at me in the comments about that. But anyway, these pieces are primarily used for that connection, so we're going to put them off to the side. We're going to take these two arm pieces, and they are actually going to flip around, and you can see how the back of the forearm is all hollow. That's so that you can sit this in here like that, and that will sit in very snugly. So we're going to do that again here with the other one, and you can also see that there are two stickers on the one on each forearm there. There's also a sticker down here in what will kind of be the abdomen area of the robot, and you can kind of see the robot head peeking out there. Then we're going to take these two pieces, and this panel will unpeg and kind of hang down like this. And then we are going to take one of the arms, and what you want to do, I think it's this one, because you want this little tab slot right here to line up with this here. So no, I had it right the first time. This is going to peg in here like that, and then that's going to tab in there to make a piece. Do the same thing over here. This is going to connect there like that, and then tab in. And then these two are going to tab together like that. And then this is all going to, you can see that there are two pegs right here and here. They are going to peg in right here and here. Like so. Just like that. And then you're going to take these little pieces, and they are just going to fill in this little section here. So I'm trying to see exactly how, I think it's this little tab right here will tab in right there. And this tab right there will tab in right there. And that just kind of fills in that empty space. And then you're going to take this large sled piece, and this is going to peg in underneath. So it's kind of neat. You can see like this kind of crotch area of the robot is meant to go in this little recessed section here. These two pegs will kind of sit in these areas here. These two pegs right here and here will peg into the hands underneath. So you just kind of line this all up. And there you go. And so you have the Pla Rail compatible hitch here on the back. But the cool thing is, unlike all of the other versions of Shinkalion, the entire robot fits into one car. So if you're familiar with any of the other versions of Shinkalion, there's always a front car, like a middle rectangular car that usually houses some accessories, and then a back car. And it lends for a lot of unused parts. And it just kind of get like, especially the rectangular one in the center, you're always just kind of throwing them somewhere. This is actually kind of cool. They were actually able to put the entire robot into the one car. You can still connect them together. And, you know, you will have the sled piece just kind of off to the side when you're in the robot mode, but it's still pretty cool. I really appreciate that they were able to get it all into one car here. This giant piece here, you can actually connect to the back, so you can see this little connection nub right there. That can actually pop on right here. And then if you wanted to just have that go around on the back, you can. it's kind of concealing like a larger fist for the combined mode. But it almost kind of looks like a snake's mouth to me, like the top and the bottom here. So, I don't know, just kind of looking at it. But yeah, so rolls pretty well. Let's go ahead and bring the trailer back in. You can see that they are about the same length. They both roll pretty well. You can actually have the train be carried around by the trailer. If you take the effect pieces off, this kind of sits a little bit more naturally in here, but pretty cool. You can have the trailer actually haul one of the cars, and then if you take this part off as well, it sits a little bit nicer again. But I think that's pretty cool. I mean, even with the effect pieces and this piece attached, you could have everything, you know, being hauled together and it would work. So I think that's kind of cool. So let's go ahead. We'll put all of this off to the side, and we will go ahead and transform the E5 into our robot mode. So basically, now that we've assembled it into the E5 Shinkansen, we're going to take it completely apart again. So we're going to pop these sections off like so. We are going to take the whole sled piece down here off and put that to the side. We won't use that for the robot mode at all. We're going to unpeg this section, and then I think the rest of this stays together. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this little section right here. This is going to kind of have to get your nail in here, but this will flip up and then slide on like a double hinge forward and kind of rest there like that. Then we are going to flip this whole section. Oh, no, I'm sorry. First we have to open up this section. I know I was forgetting something. So you can kind of see the panel line right there. This has to open up like this, which will then give us clearance to rotate this whole section down and kind of naturally click into place there. Then we can fold this back down, and now we've revealed the robot head. We just want to flip up this little horn on the back, and we'll take a quick look at this now, why it's a little bit easier. But yeah, really nice design there for the robot head. The colors look fantastic. All the paint, very nicely done. Yellow eyes, silver paint for the face. You have that little bit of pink, the gold, really sharp, the silver up here. Really, really nice. They did a great job. I always appreciate with these sets, if you don't want to do any of the stickers, you're really not missing out on a ton. Like I said, you have this little one here in the abdomen that you almost don't even see in the robot mode. And then you're going to have 2 on the forearms and 2 on the inner, like, robot legs. And that's kind of it. Like, there's not really much. So if you didn't want to bother with the stickers, you really don't have to. But there's our robot mode. We're going to take these sections. We're going to split this in half. We're going to pop those arms out again. So first we have to unpeg here, pop the hand out. Then you're actually going to take this on this double hinge, and you're going to peg this peg into this little spot right here. So this is just going to come around, bring that over, and peg that against that. Then you're going to rotate the foot down, just like so. And there is one of your legs. So we will repeat that process. We're going to unpeg this, unhook the arm section, fold down the foot, use the double hinge to rotate this back and peg this against the leg. There's your other foot. Then you're going to just pop these sections out and rotate this like this. So you want this peg hole here on the front. And you can also kind of tell because of the way the fists are molded. So you can see where the thumb is. So obviously this is going to be the right arm. And then you want the connector facing the body. You're going to take these little pieces, and this peg here will go into that peg hole and kind of create like a shoulder pad, like that. Pop this out and around, rotate that over, and go ahead and peg this in as your shoulder pad. Then you're going to take your robot. Connections are very obvious, so pop this in here. Pop this in here. I'm going to pop the hip joints out a little bit. This is going to snap in there, and this is going to snap in there. And there we go. There is our E5 Hayabusa. And again, I really appreciate that they were able to get the whole robot into just one car. I think that's really cool. He still has the cannon here on the front that you can open up So that reveals the cannon there, and that is pretty nicely painted. A little bit of gold. So we'll close this back up. So again, like I was saying for the stickers, you have these two here on the forearms. And they're not bad. I mean, they attach pretty nicely, and they're nicely detailed. You have these here on the inner legs. And that's really, and then the one on the abdomen. But that's really it. So like I said, if you didn't want to bother with the stickers, you really don't have to. All of this pink here is paint. The pink here, all of this kind of really nice metallic green. It's a lot of nice paint with these. Articulation-wise, head's on a ball joint, so you can look up fairly decently. Look down, side to side. You can tilt side to side. Really nice range of motion there for the ball joint in the neck. Swivel, front to back here on the shoulder, as well as an out to the side hinge. You have a bicep swivel, I would say over 90 degrees there in the elbow. Now, unfortunately, the backs of the forearms are pretty hollow, but again, that's because of the transformation. It doesn't really bother me all that much, I gotta be honest. And you can move, because these just peg in, if you want to move the shoulder pads here, put them like on a super 45-degree angle, something like that, have them straight out, even have them angled down, whatever you want. They move independently of the rest of the arm and everything. So you have a waist swivel up here, kind of above the abdomen, above that sticker. So you got a swivel there. Really nice ratchets in the hips. 90 degrees that way. 90 degrees that way. Move the arm out of the way. Kick out to the side. So really nice range of motion there. Got a thigh swivel. Got 90 degrees there in the knee. Now these feel like they should be able to move here where the green meets the white, but that's where it connects into place. So there is no joint there. You have the thigh swivel above that, and then you have the knee joint, but it looks like it could move there, but it cannot. Then down here, you have an actual ball joint for the foot itself, but then there's another joint here for transformation, so you can move that around. You can ankle tilt. If you hold this, you can move this up and down a little bit because there's a ball joint here in the foot, and then there's a secondary joint right there. So really nice articulation. Honestly, I think this looks pretty good. Size-wise, it's probably 6 inches. Let me see if I can find... Here is a deluxe transformer, but he is one of the shorter ones, I will say. So maybe he's not the best comparison. Let's see. What else do I have around? Alright, you know what? Let's do it. Let's bring in Tigerhawk. So Tigerhawk being a leader class transformer. I don't know, maybe he's Voyager sized? I guess he is bigger than a deluxe now that I have everything out here. I wish I had more handy. I just put everything away. But yeah, I would say he's roughly Voyager size. Like if Tigerhawk is, yes, he's leader class, but he's almost kind of Voyager size, but he's a little bit bigger. So yeah, maybe he's like 6 inches Voyager size, something like that. But yeah, pretty good size, really nice articulation. Paint looks good. Couple of little stickers just for accent. Really, they were very easy to apply because they're all nice flat surfaces, so it's no issue to apply those stickers very, very quick. Yeah, overall, I think this guy's pretty cool, but we're not done. He does have a combination with the trailer. So I wanted to mention this piece again real quick. This is the piece that's used for the combination of the 3 main trains. Of course, I'm not going to be able to show that to you right now because I only have the one. But the directions for this guy do include that combination, which is nice. I would imagine all 3 of them probably do. But what you can do is you're going to take just this piece, if it'll pop off there, just this little shield piece, and then we're going to put the rest of this to the side. This will not be used. You can go ahead and pop this onto the forearm here as kind of a shield, and you can use that in this mode even without the trailer if you like. Kind of the only weapon he has on his own, but he is about to get some cool weapons now once we bring in the trailer. So of course we have this little sword here. We're going to take that off. Underneath here we're going to pop this section off. That's going to become like a crotch plate. This is going to unpeg like this. Then we can pop these 2 out. Kind of just disassembling the entire thing, quite honestly. So it's not really so much a transformation as a kind of a take apart and configure differently. Pop this off, pop these apart, and then we're going to take, I mean, literally completely disassemble this all the way down to the initial pile of pieces. We're also going to take these and disconnect this, so we have all three of those separately. Okay, let's start with, we'll start up here with the shoulder pads. So we're going to go ahead and remove the shoulder pads, like so. We are going to take the front cab sections. Stand on your own. I do say I wish he had a little bit more in terms of heels, but it's really just a matter of using the ball joints to find the balance. He also looks very strange to me without shoulder pads. We're going to take these pieces here, the cab sections, and you're going to want this little tab right here. That's what's going to peg into the shoulder. So we're going to take this one and peg this over top, and then we're going to bring this in. And it's, you kind of have to wiggle it a little bit because you kind of have to get past and then peg that into the shoulder. And of course, it's not cooperating for me right now, but it will work. Okay, so there we go. So that kind of beefs up the shoulder pad a little bit. Where's the other one? Over here. We will peg this in. And you can see how this section here kind of fits into this empty slot right there. So they did plan for everything. This will pop on to this one, like so. So then we're going to come around the back and we're going to take these like hammer looking pieces and we are going to pop them on. Does it matter which way I do this? I don't think so. Pop them on like this. I honestly don't think if you switch these, I don't think it would matter. But you're going to take these effect pieces and they are going to peg onto this. So this is going to pop on like that. So that's kind of cool. And like I said, you can move these around. You can move it up. You can move it down if you want it more to the side. I kind of like maybe 45-degree angle, something like that. So we have those effect pieces in play. Next up, we'll take this piece. This is going to peg on here, just kind of extend the shield that's on his forearm, like that. Then we are going to, he's a little top heavy right now. It's gonna get better in a moment. Let's just go ahead and do it now. So we'll take these little shoe pieces that I talked about, and they will peg on to the feet, just kind of nicely peg in. You can see that it lines up with the little gray, the green piece here. That kind of falls right into that slot, so you kind of know right where to put them. And that gives him bigger feet, a little bit more balanced. You're going to take these, click this forward, so it's kind of like a shin pad, knee pad, something like that. And then these, I have to flip it towards the camera. You want these pieces on the inner leg. So this is going to snap on there. Flip this one forward. You have the big connection right there. Boom, that clicks in there. These are going to peg in here on the side. Kind of like thigh guards here. This piece is going to peg on the crotch. You can see these two connectors right there. That's very simple. Boom. So this is looking pretty cool. I have to say, I like the colors. I like the built-up armor. I like that they even built up the shoulder pads a little bit because that gives that a little bit more volume. But the last thing is to take our tiny little sword, which I have to say is kind of a weird, thinner, flimsier plastic than everything else. It's almost got kind of a tacky quality to it. Like everything else feels solid, but this almost feels a little sticky. It's weird. I think it's just because it's made out of a softer plastic. You can see it's more pliable, and I assume that's just for safety because it's a sword, it's pointy. But, boom, slide this right in here, and then you have got yourself one awesome blade, and he is ready to go. So he's got his arm shield here, he's got his laser sword, looking awesome. I really like this quite a bit. Articulation really not changed at all. Obviously, it's the same hip connector, it's the same knee. It doesn't really do anything in terms of, you know, moving any articulation. The ball joint is still intact, but honestly, more often than not, because it's so tight, you're going to disconnect the shoe when you're trying to move it. Over time, these might work out a little bit, but it's just really tight on mine. But I'd rather joints be tight than loose, so I'm not really complaining. And you can always pop that back on. But yeah, really no new articulation points. I guess really moving these around. That's about it, because these are just pegged in, so you can move these up and down if you like. But what you can also do, if you take this off, and you take this off, and we take the sword, and we will just pose him over here for the moment. You can actually disassemble this. You can take this piece, and you can see that there is still a slot connector there, and you can peg this in here, and then put the sword here now instead, like that, and then sandwich this one on top, and make an even bigger sword. And then you can give him this massive sword. So if he needs to power up the sword, you can make this even larger, more significant bladed sword, which is pretty cool, I have to say. And I will say, this thing really gives you options. I mean, if you think about it, you have the train form, you have the trailer form, you have the individual robot form, you have this combined form, you have, you know, 2 different versions of the sword. I mean, there's a lot going on here for just one set. I think that's pretty cool. I really like all the different options you can do. Not to mention, the more you buy, there's a combined mode, and you can switch around the, like, auxiliary vehicles. So I think the E6 comes with a crane, and you could switch them. So you can give the E6 this trailer armor, you know, the E5 can use the crane armor. This line's going to have a ton of playability with it. I mean, you can switch the armors. There's a combined mode for the 3 of them. Not to mention, each set on its own has a lot of options with posability and, you know, weapon configurations. This is pretty cool, I have to say. I didn't really want to get sucked into another Shinkalion line, but it's looking like it might happen. I don't know. They do find a way to reinvent it, which I do appreciate. I really do. I have to say, the first one was kind of basic, and they had a lot of those. Like, this thing still has this kind of plow rail connector. With the original line, these things were all over the robot body. They were hanging around. They were in the way. It was a real shame. When they did the first anime, they found a way to kind of hide them. They kind of found a way for them to kind of click in place and get out of the way a little bit. With the second one, they made it so that you could switch the arms and the legs around. And honestly, the way these connect, I would not be surprised. I haven't had an ability to test it yet because I only have one again, but I would not be surprised if you could still switch the arms and the legs around. So that's something I'll have to try out when I get the E6. So that was kind of the gimmick for Shinkalion Z, was the ability to switch the arms and the legs because of the way they connected. The first line, you know, you opened it up and they, I think, sprung loaded. They were sprung loaded, is that a word? They were spring loaded, and you know, there was an auto transformation for the arms. They were in the back and then they would come forward, so you couldn't disconnect them. So that was kind of the gimmick for Zet, that you could disconnect the arms and the legs and switch them around. Now we have these armors that you can switch around. You might even still be able to switch the arms and the legs around, and there's a combination of the main 3. They know how to up themselves every year. I will give them that. They find a way to reinvent the line and kind of one-up themselves every time, and I appreciate that, honestly. I also really enjoy the fact that the entire robot is now packed into one car. I think that's a big deal, because you had so many of those little rectangle middle cars with accessories that, you know, you'd want to make a display of all the different robots, and then you had all these rectangular cars that you just had to put somewhere, and there was not a great place to store them. There was nothing to do with them. With this, this is the only piece left over. So if I can find somewhere to put that, this is the entire contents of the box in a very nice displayable option. And I like that. I really do appreciate that. You can put this on your shelf. It looks cool. You only have these little things, you know, maybe I get like a Ziploc bag or something to put these. And I could store several of these in a small bag and it wouldn't be that big of an issue. When I had those giant rectangular cars, they took up so much space. I tried to like hide them in the back of my display or stack them in the corner or something. And they were all over the place. The other thing is with Zet, they had a lot of those wheel pieces. They, instead of trying to hide them on the robot mode, they made them disconnectable. And so you had a ton of those, and I would try to stack those inside the rectangular cars, but they didn't all fit. So now I had a pile of rectangular cars and a pile of little wheel pieces. Boom. One thing. Done. There might even be a way, can I store this on the back somewhere? No. I was going to say, you could almost kind of use it like a surfboard, though, if you really wanted to. Can this connect in any way? No, but he could pose on it if you really wanted to. But this is so much easier to store and keep off to the side than the giant rectangular car and the pile of wheel segments. So, again, they've refined it again. I really like this a lot more than I thought I was going to. Here, we'll open up the chest laser as well. So, this is pretty cool. I like this a lot. I think I'm going to have to get more of these, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I got mine from Amazon Japan. They're probably around at other retailers, HLJ, wherever else you buy Japanese toys. Honestly, those are the two big ones that I use, Amazon Japan and HLJ. But yeah, I'm going to have to look into some more of these because this is kind of cool. So you've bested me again, Takara Tomy. What can I say? Yeah. Definitely want to check it out. Price-wise, let me talk about that. So, I want to say it was like 5,000 yen, which is probably $35 to $40 after the conversion before shipping. But I don't really think that's that bad. I mean, if you think about the fact that like a Voyager class Transformer is $35 at this point, and this is about $35, I think it's kind of on par. I mean, yes, they're all going to be trains, so you have to like trains. There's not going to be much variety in the alt modes, but there will be variety in the alt modes of the like secondary units. You know, we have a trailer, we have a crane. I forget what the others are that we've seen so far, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, the articulation is definitely there. The paint applications are definitely there. There's a few stickers, very easy to apply, but honestly, if you didn't even want to bother with them, I don't think you're missing out on much. Yeah, I don't really have any notes for this. It's pretty fun. It's pretty cool. The color's great. The articulation's great. The transformation's fun. I guess, okay, I will say it's not so much a transformation as it is a take apart and reconfigure, but it's fine. I mean, it's not very difficult. It's very intuitive. You do it once and you've memorized it. It's not really that difficult in that regard, but it's fun. I like it. Definitely gets a recommendation from me, and I will definitely be grabbing some more of these. So, again, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.